Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Tuesday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It's Tuesday. You know what that means. That means good old Buddy Martin for a little bit here in the first part of the show. Second portion of the show, we're going to be joined by JC today. We were supposed to have Mike Morgan. Mike Morgan's going to come on tomorrow along with Chris Harris. So a lot of people have stuff going on, traveling, what have you. So in the meantime, we're going to go to the Titan MRI hotline and we're going to be joined by the head dog at Gator Bait Magazine, Gator Bait Media, Buddy Martin. Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good morning, Shane. Good to talk to you. I'm actually off for a couple of days. I saw you were off yesterday. I thought, Shane's taking off. I'm going to take off some time. But then you called me and told me I had to work. So here I am. That's right.
Well, we're just going to keep you for a few minutes, buddy, because I want to get your thoughts. A lot of stuff has happened since the last time we talked. First of all, buddy, you got to come out and you got to congratulate that team that was pitiful in game one of the College World Series. We have not spoken since then.
And that's the only reason you got me on today. I know. Well, I texted you a comment about it. You were absolutely right about Mississippi State Bulldogs. I saw a pitiful performance, and in baseball, as you know better, everything's streaky. You know, things happen. You can be blowing somebody out tomorrow and then lose 3 in a row. But congratulations to Mississippi State. Finally got a national championship. That's great. It's a great story. They were resilient. They deserved it. They took it to Vandy. I mean, they really took it to Vandy. So they were the best team. And you were right. You called it. So congratulations.
Well, I wasn't doing that. I was giving you a hard time because they were pitiful in game one, but Vanderbilt was pitiful in the other two games.
Pitiful, yeah.
Yeah. So, congratulations to Mississippi State. The state of Mississippi, man. It was crazy. Buddy, also the name, image, and likeness has kicked off. And you wrote a good piece, and I'd like for you to promote that so people can go check that out where you wrote it. And I've been saying this all along. I don't think these collegiate athletes are going to have an opportunity to make all this money that they thought they were going to make, because there's only a handful of premier collegiate, let's just say football right now, football players out there. I personally think the female athlete's going to make more money than the male athlete in college. I know Spencer Rattler, Miles Brennan, and somebody else from Ohio State, they all signed a deal with Raising Cane's, which is based out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's kind of like a Zaxby's type deal. Very good. But we don't know what the dollar amounts are from that. They could be just getting X amount of dollars in free food each week or what have you. So just talk a little bit about what you've heard and read and also what you wrote.
Well, first of all, Bo Nix got a sweet deal with bottle of sweet tea.
He and a DB from Alabama signed with that same company. Yeah. But again, we don't know what they're getting. They may be just getting a case of sweet tea each month for all we know.
It's kind of like it was in the old days when they did it illegally. When you guys would go out and drink all these bars for free and get free food and all this stuff. And I was in school, they gave you free movie passes, which they weren't supposed to, the athletes. It's always been on the fringe. It's just out in the open now. And you're right, we don't. I wrote a column saying I love it and I hate it. I love it because I think it's long overdue and some kind of money to the athletes. That should have happened a long time ago. Remember, Coach Spurrier threw his wallet up on the table. The STC media days, which starts next week, by the way. I won't be here. I'll be right here, there. But so I mean, it's become part of the culture. I hate that word, but it's part of the culture now. And it's what deal can you make? I don't think anybody knows. They're all guessing. But there are people out there like, if your daddy happens to be a rapper and he's got a lot of money, he can legally make you a sponsor for his music, I guess. I hate it and I love it. I wrote that, but I don't sleep well at nights because anytime you get money involved with young people, and they should have a chance to get it, you get bad intentions by some people. And if they can just, it's going to happen. some school's going to get burnt by some guy who gave money illegally under the guise of name, image, likeness, and it's going to happen. But let it happen, get it over with, and let's see what it is. The kids deserve a chance to make a buck. And the column I wrote was do we have to keep talking about this annoying thing called name, image, likeness? A name was that? Yeah, NIH. Yeah, we do have to keep talking about it because we don't know what it is yet. We're trying to figure it out. So, yeah, I guess we'll keep on with that. Good luck. I hope they all prosper and do well, and it's all done for the right reasons, but I'm afraid it might not be.
Yeah, it's we got a couple of Facebook Lives brought to you by Meldon Law here, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Dan says, I saw several NIL deals were for real cash. There are some, but I saw where De'Aaron King got 20 grand from a moving company down in South Florida, which I don't know what the hell that moving company's going to get out of it. He also said Master P's son that plays football had some deal. Master P's son signed the biggest deal for $2 million. It has something to do with a web company, but he plays at Tennessee State University, at HBC University, I believe. I'm sure his dad has something to do with that. I mean, why anybody would pay a college athlete $2 million is beyond me.
Well, I'll tell you one reason.
What's that?
That is the number of social media followers you got.
Okay, I get that. But here's the thing, buddy. Have you seen any major brand companies approach any of these kids yet? And I know it's early, but
because I haven't seen it, but
because it doesn't matter how many social media people they have. Because if you're a major brand, you don't need collegiate athletes. That's my whole thing. I'm all for them making a little bit of money. I think it's going to destroy college sports. Because
do you really? You think? Wait a minute. You said it's going to destroy college sports.
Well, maybe that's the wrong word to use, but buddy, I'm telling you. And I've seen tweets by Jimmy Dykes, guys that I respect on Twitter. It's going to be locker room issues. And for anybody that sits here and tells you it's not going to be an issue, they're crazy as hell. They're lying. Because I'm telling you right now, you can already tell by some of the tweets by some of the athletes, if you follow college athletes, they're not coming out and saying they're disappointed, but they can tell it ain't going the way they thought it was going to go. You know what I mean? They're not getting approached by all these people. When you have to go on there and have companies ask them to direct message you, if a company wants you, they're going to come after you, buddy, without you asking them, is what I'm trying to say. But again, if player X gets $10,000 to go sign at a mall and player Y over here doesn't, he's going to get pissed off in the locker room. I'm telling you. And I would not want to be a college football coach right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all transpires, but I just don't think it's good for college sports at all.
All right, let me just rebut this for 1 second and take the other side just for a moment, for sake of argument. Shane, you've been in locker rooms your entire life. There's always been a pecking order. Some guy always gets favored over the other players. There's always been. Wait a minute. Let me finish my point.
Okay.
Everybody has been through this. You've been through it. Even I, as an athlete, not a very good one. You're a professional athlete, of course. There's going to be people who get more. The expectation is probably a good point. But look, I've seen teams hate each other and win. Okay. I remember when the Oakland A's were winning World Series. They were all after each other's throat. So this is not anything new. And when people talk about the locker room, we just say, who is the locker room? Locker room's the players. They don't all think alike. Since when does everybody think alike in a locker room? So I think I hear your gloom and doom, and I'm a little bit with you on that. But I think before we just automatically say, well, this is going to run football, what you just said, or run college sports, let's think about this. There have been players. You think Steve Spurrier was treated the same way as the players, everybody else? No, he wasn't. You think he got favors from people? Yes, he did. Everybody's gone through that. So that's part of the culture. Now, this is different. This is hard money. This is business, and it's dangerous. But I think before we say the locker room's not going to like it, locker room, I've heard that argument for many years. All right? Well, let's see who wins. And we'll tell you. You think Nick Saban's going to
I can tell you exactly who's going to win. I can go ahead and tell you who's going to be in the 14th playoff, buddy. It ain't going to change the winning. it's going to change the culture of your locker room. And you can't compare this to professional sports, because when you go play professional sports, you're pretty much slotted and know what you're going to be making until you produce and you become. I mean, think about it. In the NFL, 53 men are on a roster. There's only about 5 to 10 guys making a ton of money on that roster. The rest of everybody's making minimum salary. So there is no negotiating. Yes, if you play better and you get a contract extension, then you can make more money. But that's why the average career of an NFL player is 2.5 years. That's why you don't get benefits until after 3 years and 3 games, because those young guys are making a set amount of money. And then before you get to your 3rd year, they cut you and find somebody just as fast and younger than you. So you can't compare a pro locker room to a college locker room, because everybody in college has been getting the same thing. You've been getting your scholarship. You may get a little bit more for Pell Grant money and those type of things. But when a 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old guy, one guy is making X amount of dollars signing autographs, and he is playing just as well as this other guy, and that guy's not getting any money, there is going to be problems in that locker room. If you don't believe that, you're crazy as hell. And I can already tell on some of the Twitter followers, tweets, whatever, you can tell these guys are, I don't want to say surprised, but they're not getting what they thought they were going to get.
Yeah, that's greed. It's just called greed. And by the way, speaking of locker room, on a side note, my first professional locker room when I was a young pup as a sports writer, I went to Jacksonville to see an NFL exhibition game with the Packers and the Cardinals. I walked in the Green Bay locker room, and here was Paul Hornung with a pack of Marlboros on the bench, puffing away. Jim Taylor's drinking, swilling down beers. I thought, this ain't the locker room I'm used to seeing. It's a whole lot different in that regard. You're right. Anyway, we'll see how it happens.
But you're comparing a pro locker room to a college locker room.
I'm saying that was my point. It was the stark reality of me of a pro locker room. When I saw what went on in there versus what I'd seen in college, and you played the game, Shane, you know it. I know you know, and you may be right, but I don't want to be that old get off my lawn guy, who says, "Oh, these young kids today, give them a chance. They deserve a chance."
I agree, but buddy, you're on Twitter. Don't you think that some of these guys are a little like, gosh, this is not happening the way I thought it was going to happen?
Yeah, but here's a great quote.
That feeling?
Here's a great quote along those lines. A guy who's been much chastised and criticized. I give him a lot of props because Jacob Copeland making himself a big target. He's already had the logo out there, which looks pretty good on a T-shirt or whatever. He's ready to go. Because why? Because the people around him told him, you better be ready, and he did. But here's a quote that tells you this is what can happen when young people learn. I love this quote from Jacob Copeland. Remember, at end of the day, he tweeted, you have to produce on the field or else those deals mean nothing. Well, there you go. That's an awakening right there. And I think that's what you have to count on. The wiser heads will prevail. The young people will learn, and maybe they'll make a buck.
No, I think they'll make a little bit of money here and there off their T-shirt sales. They'll get some autograph signings. Someone mentioned here on Facebook Live a few minutes ago, it's right here, John says, brought to you by Mellon Law. I wonder how this will affect Fan Day now. Do you think they even have Fan Day? Because how many of these college athletes, if they are getting paid wherever to sign autographs, are they going to go to Fan Day and sign them for free?
Yeah, that's too much. This is going to be an ongoing thing, isn't it? Ongoing, just like everything else is going to be an ongoing thing. In terms of learning, is a learning curve here, and we're going to see some hiccups. There's no doubt about that.
Yep. All right, buddy. Switching gears because we don't have you much longer here. I know you got things going on. You and your Rays. Tell us what's going on. I have not watched any Major League Baseball yet, but apparently since they're checking these pitchers and stuff out now, guys are able to hit the baseball.
I can't. It's funny that I'm talking baseball because I never talk baseball. But there's a really interesting story going on. I was talking to my sports writer baseball buddies last night, written books about it. And, there was this unwritten, and I didn't know this, I wasn't aware of it, unwritten rule that players were allowed to use rosin. They didn't talk about it. And sunscreen as a combination to get a better grip on the baseball. They've been doing it for a while, and baseball's looking the other way. Well, here about 3 or 4 weeks ago, baseball said you can't do that anymore. And the ace pitcher for the Rays went out and tried to adjust and hurt his arm by doing it. And so consequently, all of a sudden, I was talking to Bill Madden, who wrote the book on Tom Seaver that's out now. Good read, by the way. And he said, yes, nobody can get anybody out. There's these big games, 11-1 and 9-8 and 15-2 and whatever. Well, I don't know what's going on. I just know that things have changed since they put this rule in. I can't prove that. It's speculation. But people who follow baseball know it's true. You take a team like the Rays, they're all about pitching and defense. They have a tremendous young staff in bullpen. All of a sudden, they can't get anybody out. Were they using illegal substances? I don't know. It's a fact. Look at the numbers. So it's really, and something really, really funny happened the other night, which I don't know if we have time or not. But they got so bad against, I think it was against the Nationals. They're getting crap out of them, 10-1. They've been losing big scores. And so there's an outfielder for the Rays named Brett Phillips. And they asked him to go and pitch. He's not a pitcher. So they got a great shot of him warming up in the bullpen. That was amazing. It's funny. And you have a little audio with it. I don't know if we can play that or not, but it's really funny. And people, I'm saying this guy's the next Bob Uecker. Bob Uecker's a funny guy. I mean, he's just hilarious. So if you have a chance to see it, I don't know if Evan can show it or not, but anyway.
Yeah, I think he's going to run it. He's going to run it. Real quick, buddy, we got a couple of Facebook Lives here while they're running that video. John says, which athletes does Pod Up have sponsorship deals with? We've cut no deals yet. And Kyle says, no golf talk this morning. What about the golfers who got shot in Georgia? That was horrible. I don't know if you saw that, buddy.
Not a golf story. That's a crime story. I saw it. Found two bodies on the green. And
then they shot the club pro. It's horrible.
Horrible. That's not a golf story. In golf, by the way, again, a great scenario with all the players, but nobody you care about. You know, it was. I mean, I watched it, and again, they went 5 holes, 6 holes over time, and you kind of get to know these kids. But let's be honest about it. Other than the fact that Mickelson's controversy over with the sports writer, how he might not come back, and that, and maybe Ricky Fowler and a couple others, there really wasn't a whole lot to watch there in Detroit.
Yeah. Before we let you go, buddy, turn your car or truck into a rolling billboard for your business or brand with the eye-catching vehicle wrap from Wrap Spot. This July, mention promo code Shane to receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. Speaking with Buddy for here, few more minutes. The Lightning, we've had a bunch of Facebook Lives here talking about the Lightning. They lose in overtime, 3-1 now.
Yeah.
I went to sleep when it was like 1-0, so I didn't get to see a whole lot. But did you watch the entire game, buddy?
I did not. I watched a lot of it, though, probably 80%. I was watching Braves baseball. They played horribly against Cleveland. Somehow I came back and won it 9-8. I watched it, and the Lightning, I told my wife in the next room, watch, the Lightning is about to clinch the Stanley Cup here. Of course, she said, what's the Stanley Cup? But anyway, I said, watch here. And at the time, they're in Montreal. They had the puck with pressure on. Well, a penalty. They were down. They were up. I think they were up by one man. It was a penalty, and they were firing shots every 2 seconds. And I said, it's a matter of time. They're going to make this overtime goal. They're going to win a Stanley Cup. And what a story. Well, guess what? Somehow, miraculously, Montreal got the puck back and scored and won it 3-2. So they extended it, but they're still up 3-1. It's been exciting. I don't know if you watch hockey at all. Mm-hmm. I know you've seen it in the past. But I love the Stanley Cup. I'm not much on the journey
here. Yeah. Before we let you go, buddy, Facebook Live here brought to you by Metal Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Joe says, Shane, are you watching the match today? Today's the match. Is it Brady? Who's Brady's partner? Mickelson?
I got to get that straightened out. I can't remember.
So it's Brady and Aaron Rodgers, Mickelson and DeChambeau. By the way, DeChambeau shot $1 million this past weekend.
I know you were happy.
That's your guy.
I know you were very happy.
That's your guy.
I'm going to start calling you out on your guys start playing bad, by the way.
That's fine. That's fine.
Just so you know, you love to dig into me. Oh, he's had a great year.
I wasn't crowning DeChambeau the greatest golfer in the world. Like
you know what you're getting to be? You're getting to be an old fuddy-duddy. I'm the young guy, and you're the old guy all of a sudden here.
I think it's DeChambeau and Aaron Rodgers, because I want to say Koepka was tweeting to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, because he hates you.
Sorry about So that is today. I will watch that. I forgot about that. Last thing before we let you go, buddy, and I'll talk more about this tomorrow with Chris Harry from FloridaGators.com. Colin Castleton is coming back to the Gators, which he wasn't ready for the NBA.
But he's ready to play college ball, and he was, I think, a really good college player. He will help that team. And all of a sudden, things look a little better for Coach White, you know. I mean, they got look at the number of guys that opted out. He's in the low end. Everybody says, oh, look, they're all leaving. No, well, they're not all leaving. They lost probably fewer than anybody in the SEC. Yeah. And to get Castleton back now. So I think that bodes well. I just like to see Mike White's team get in the groove and not lose some of these games that they shouldn't be losing. Hey, by the way, you didn't ask me this, but Copeland has the most followers on 88,000 among the Gators. Emory Jones is next, 84. Then you got Trey Dean, Gervin Dexter, who might be a real sleeper. Princely Umamelan, how do you say that? They call him Prince, right? And then they're the top guys. So that's what's going to be about, Shane. How many followers you got on Twitter, Shane?
I don't know because I don't really tweet. I just go in there and look at stuff. But
yeah,
I agree. I agree. Having a bunch of Twitter followers is great, but like I said, I mean, these guys haven't struck any deals, so I don't think it really matters.
Let me educate you, Shane, on this. I have to educate you on everything. When you have social media, you got power. You're what is called an influencer, and this
only
is what,
if you're worth a damn.
What? But the reason they got followers is they're worth a damn. That's why.
Well, I mean, no, because I see some people go on there, whoever it is. Hey, please get all your friends to follow.
That's a different dude. That's a different dude. You're going to tell me that Copeland doesn't have followers? Of course he does.
Well, yeah, he does.
Emory Jones is going to be the next one. So I mean, look, give time.
I mean, I hope they get deals, but I'm just saying from what I've seen on Twitter, I feel like the collegiate athlete, regardless of what sport it is, I don't want to say they're disappointed, but I think they're in shock. May not be the right way, but we haven't seen all these deals that I think everybody thought they were going to see.
You know, I'm going to start calling you broken clock. You know why?
Why?
Because you're right at least twice a day when you're broken clock, and you got all these things out there you put down. Like eventually, it'll become true. Eventually, let's talk about right now what's going on in the game. All right, the dynamics of college football. What's going to change? How's it going to impact the next season, the next game, the players? Which coach can manage all this expectation? What about the crooked agents and what have you? I mean, there's a lot of things going on here, Shane, and you're right. It's dangerous, but it's not all bad, Shane.
No, it's not. But I can go ahead and tell you, regardless of how many Twitter followers you have, buddy, I have, or whoever the quarterback in Oregon has, I can tell you 3 of the Final 4 teams right now. And we're on, what is this today, July the 8th?
All right, let me hear them.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Clemson. Yeah. Ohio State. And then the 4th is to be determined at a later date.
Okay. Why is that different than last year?
It's not. My point is the best teams, I can give you 6 to 7 teams right now. Yeah. Those 6 or 7 teams, all will be one of those 4, well, 3 of them I already told you who they're going to be. But it doesn't matter. That's my point. Just because, let's say UCF, some guy there has 10 million followers on Twitter. He's still not going to go to UCF or stay at UCF if he gets some kind of – if he's that good of a player, he's going to go play at one of the major universities. I know I'm not making sense right now.
That's the system we're in. And by the way, just so you know, that's what's wrong with the playoff system, is that the same people keep showing up. That's why they told us they were going to change this. We thought it was going to happen in 2 or 3 years. It's going to be 5 now before they change it. They lied to us again about that. But that's what's wrong with the playoffs. It's broken. It's like being on Groundhog Day on college football. It's the same people. And if they don't change it, people are going to start turning the TVs off. They got to get new faces in there and give more people chances. They say they're going to do it. They're talking on both sides of their mouth. Let's see it get done. Just because you can pick 3 of the 4 doesn't mean that you're Nostradamus. I mean, anybody can do that right now because of the system. It's a broken system. I've been shouting about it for 30 years, telling me we got to have a better system, you know. And I was right at least once, you know, in the last 30 years, like a broken clock too.
All right, buddy. Good stuff. We know you're taking a few days off. Enjoy your time off, and we'll talk to you
just tonight, Shane. Just tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. have Tony Barnhart on tomorrow, and then we'll have Cassie and Jackie on with us, and maybe a few others tomorrow night. So just off last night and tonight.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Have a good one, Shane. Stay safe with that storm. See you.
Yes, sir. That's Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. We're going to take our first time out, come back, talk to JC. It seems like we haven't talked to JC in about a month. I'm sure he has a lot to say. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, non-surgical regeneration, live pain-free. South State Bank, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, Cornerstone Financial, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Chick-fil-A on Archer Road, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Chomp Carter Apparel, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit podupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
We're looking for all type of restaurant people, managers, servers, bartenders, hosts, cooks, dishwashers, bussers. If you think you're good in the restaurant business, then give us a call.
Spurrier's Gridiron Grill job fair is open now. All you have to do is go to spurriersdraft.com and fill out an application.
We're looking for the good team members, and we're looking for people with a wonderful attitude that can make Spurrier's Gridiron Grill the best we can possibly be. To apply, go to spurriersdraft.com.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration Points, where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Regal Cinemas, Bass Pro Shops, Nike, Le Macaron French Pastries, Palmetto Moon, and coming August of 2021, the HBC's new restaurant, Spurs Gridiron Grill and Visors Tailgate and Rooftop Bar. We will see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. I want to thank Buddy for joining us. Now we're going to go back to the Titan MR hotline, and he is it seems like we haven't talked to this guy in like a month. He's normally on Wednesdays, but Corn Dog is joining us here on the Titan MR hotline. Before I get to you, Corn Dog, I got a couple of Facebook Lives to read here. John was talking about, he wonders how many shirts Gervon Dexter sold because he sold out. Somebody else said they want to buy a Jacob Copeland shirt. I mean, I'm just going off. We don't know how many he sold. Who knows? It could have been, he could have just started with 10 and sold out, you know. But anyway, before we get into other stuff, JC, I'm going to talk to Chris Harry tomorrow about this a lot, and Mike Morgan from the SEC Network, because I feel like it's something to discuss every day because we're still learning. Have you followed the name, image, and likeness? Because we haven't talked to you since it kicked off.
Well, somewhat I have. And, you know, I've kind of gotten a couple different takes on this. A lot of guys that I listen to think it's not as big a deal as a lot of folks want to make it out to be, because it all really comes down to what businesses are willing to spend as far as how much money is going around and this and that. And a lot of kids these days, the idea is that some kids won't harbor ill will toward their friends or teammates if somebody can get a deal for themselves. And in that case, you may not have the jealousy issues that you may have had in prior years when money was scarcer, meaning that today everybody has a chance with a little ingenuity and a little intelligence and some entrepreneurship skills and with some help to do better than they would have been without NIL. And so some folks are thinking of this as the free market enterprise and a way to make things actually better for kids and a learning experience. Now we're going to talk about taxes. We're going to talk about budgeting. We're going to talk about all these little issues that come in that otherwise folks would have had to learn. You know, we teach so many things in college, but you know, one of the things we don't talk about much and what we should start teaching our kids and our students is money. what is money? How does it work? How do you procure it? What do you do with, learn a little bit about money. I mean, how many times have we heard some player in some professional league go belly up broke? And, some singer out there, some Hollywood movie star go belly up broke, meaning they can't handle or manage their money properly. So in a way, you can look at this positively and think of it as an opportunity for some kids to make this better. And I'm starting to feel more that way right now, because again, the money that's out there is only dependent on what these entities are willing to spend. And, if you want to give a kid thousands of dollars to wear your emblem or your logo on your shirt, that's a business expense. So I don't know. I think I think we still have a long way to go to find out what the real ramifications of this are. But in a way, to me, this seems like it can be turned as a positive thing by showing kids and teaching kids about money, learning how to handle it.
No, I agree. I just think, and it's just my personal opinion, I think a lot of guys, and I talked to Buddy about this, and I may be using the wrong term. I think a lot of players are, I don't say shocked, but I don't think they're getting what they thought they were going to get. You know what I mean?
Well, they haven't played yet either, QB. I think.
Well, that ain't got nothing to do with it, because all these guys thought just because they're college athletes, and whether they played in the SEC or the Big Ten or wherever, I think one of the guys that had one of the bigger deals that I saw, and we don't know what they never throw the dollar amounts out there. I forgot the kid's name. He's the shooting guard for Iowa. He did a signing at a fireworks store in Iowa, and he got $10. No. They didn't say what it was, but anyway,
it just comes down to what people are willing to pay, right? It does.
Right.
And but think about this though. When games do start, QB, this is important. If Brock Purdy goes out and lights up Oklahoma with 5 touchdowns, how do you know he's not going to get a phone call the next day? Things like that can change.
Well, no, he will, and then that's where they're only going to have so much time during the season to do things, because you are in such a scheduled deal daily. And that's where, what happens if Brock Purdy says, oh, coach, Kmart, which is out of business, I think, Kmart wants me to come do an appearance for $15,000. Well, Brock, when do they want you there? They want me there Wednesday at 5:00. Well, you got practice. So, I don't know how it's going to work. I just get the feeling that some of these players thought they were going to be getting, people were going to be coming at them from all different angles. And,
maybe, but that could still happen once the season starts, is all I'm saying.
It could.
That things could change. Once the season starts, you get a guy running for 300 yards for Air Force or whoever, and San Diego State, and some guy wants to jack him up, his bank account, to use that as a marketing opportunity. It can work for businesses just as well as it can work for kids. All it's doing is opening up the market. And I think that players are going to learn very quickly how that works. And I think that can be used for the better, because it won't become so overwhelming for kids when they leave college, what the real world is kind of like and how money works. So, yeah, I see your point about the scheduling and the logistical issues, but the people know that Brock Purdy on Wednesday afternoon is not available.
I know. I'm just saying, and Brandon says here on Facebook Live, QB sounds like a hater. I'm not. I hate it because I think it's going to hurt college sports, because I still am a firm believer that if JC and I are on the same team and we play the same position, and JC runs for a bunch of yards, I didn't get all the touches that I was supposed to get, and you get X amount of dollars at some signing and I'm not, that guy's going to get pissed off. I know that. I've been in too many damn locker rooms.
No, I get that. But you know what? A lot of players without getting paid get pissed off when they don't touch the ball enough.
You're dang right they do. So now you throw money in, it's going to make it worse.
Yeah, I just don't know, though, if kids these days, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I've been around a lot of them, as have you. I don't think they get I think people are more, the jealousy aspect to me doesn't seem like it's going to be as big a problem as the opportunity aspect can be as big a benefit. And so I think with the opportunity offerings that are now out there, it will provide ambition, it could provide incentive, it can provide all kinds of positive things that kids can learn about and actually execute and become a beneficiary of. So think about it like if the Florida Gators are out there winning ball games and a couple kids are getting a little extra money on the side to help out at home, I think that's going to drive them to become even better and better. It is a self-fulfilling type of thing.
See, I disagree with that.
Well, okay,
because here's the thing, JC, and we're using football for example.
Yeah.
When a kid is a scholarship athlete coming out of high school, what is his number one goal?
To go to pro.
Okay.
Many of them.
And so you saying him making $500 down at the Oaks Mall for signing autographs is going to drive him harder. That is BS. His goal, because everybody thinks that they're going to play in the National Football League. That is their goal. They're going to play hard as they can because all 32 teams in the NFL are watching to draft you. So I don't agree with that.
I don't know. All 32 teams might be watching some people to draft, but they're not looking at the entire roster of every team. And I think that correct. And so I think so. If a kid gets $250 because he did something that Burger King wanted him to do, or some independent businessman wanted, I just don't think it's going to be as big a deal. I think it's going to be an opportunity for kids to I don't know, to put out.
Here's one thing that I think could cause problems too. If players on Twitter, because that's where you find out all your information, let's just say there's one team in the country that multiple players are getting some type of deal. And the thing about these deals, we don't even know if these deals are, hey, you get free food at my restaurant for all year long. You get free rent, whatever the deal is. I wonder if that's going to upset some players that school X is getting a bunch of deals for their players and our school's not. I saw where Arkansas through their now if you're a Florida athlete and let's just say Emory Jones, the car dealership locally wants him to do a deal, he can still wear orange and blue during the commercial or whatever. He can't have any Gator logos. Arkansas told their athletes, I think it was Arkansas, you cannot wear our school colors in anything you do.
Okay. Well, every school's going to have, I guess, some different parameters. I don't care, QB. To me, it's just not a real – I don't think it's going to be as big a problem as you may fear it will. And I just think that kids are still going to go out there and ball out on Saturday. They're still going to play on Saturday. Teams are still going to field look, college sports is not going away, QB. And if anything happens the way I'm starting to think, because I think we've got a lot to learn still. But the way I'm starting to think is that college sports is just going to get more exciting, a little bit better. What I'm more excited about or more interested really in isn't what some kid personally can benefit from, unless he's my kid or somebody I know. I'm just happy for all of them who have the opportunity. But what I'm more interested in, QB, as it relates to college football is what are these guys going to do about the playoff? And the playoff to me is the big enchilada, if you will, because if they can tweak this system to be more inclusive to other teams and create a better college environment for teams trying to win a championship, you're going to have just I think a really exciting sport once again, and not one that's become a little bit more, or that's one's become a little bit too one-sided or top-heavy, if you will, like it is now. Now, that doesn't mean that Clemson and Alabama and Oklahoma and Ohio State aren't going to still dominate. They probably will, at least for the time being. But you're going to give Coastal Carolina, you're going to give Georgia Tech, you're going to give Texas Tech, you're going to give these other schools realism. Because before the season begins, these schools basically go into every season knowing that pretty much regardless of what they do, they're not going to get it. They're not going to be able to probably have the same opportunity. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But a lot of the smaller schools, the UCFs of the world, know that they have no chance. Cincinnati knows that they have zero possibility of winning a national championship, and yet they're playing in Division I football. That's got to change. That is going to change now. Cincinnati will have that opportunity, as will UCF, and we don't have to have this kind of conversation anymore. And I think it's better for football.
We're not going to have that. I thought Buddy told me that's not going to happen for another 5 or 6 years. Did they change
it's
that?
2 years.
I thought it was 2 years too, but he said it was supposed to be 2 and they changed it back to 5.
Well, when did they say that? When did he say that?
Maybe I misunderstood.
Well, I'll tell you this, QB, yes, you did. Because if they introduce something like this now and then say, well, this isn't going to happen until 2028, 2029, then we're all just pissing in the wind. Excuse the expression. But that's really a joke. Then it becomes laughable because it's just a waste. It's just hot air. All right, that's just not something that I think fans and college football needs right now. Is a 7-year, 5-year, whatever put off on something that can instantly improve this. If we're worried to improve the sport, if we're worried about the bowls, then let's quit worrying about the dang bowls. The bowls are about as mean. We saw what the Cotton Bowl meant last year. It meant zippo, except to Oklahoma, of course, but it really didn't mean anything to them either, because where did they end up after that game? Nowhere different. So to me, get it done as soon as possible. I don't know where Buddy got that. I didn't hear that. I'm going to go back and listen to the replay.
Yeah, I didn't hear that either.
I'm going to listen to the replay. Well, you brought it up, so you heard something.
I didn't hear about that nationally.
Right,
but
you heard what Buddy
him
said.
Correct.
Okay.
I thought he said that the playoff is not going to change for 5 years. Anyway, let's switch gears, JC. You got your Mississippi State hat
Damn
on
right.
now. They finally won a national title. We haven't talked to you since then, but they were clearly the best team. I think they're the best baseball program in America.
It's hard to argue that. I mean, clearly the fan base is the best. They support that team. They look, everything that you've heard about Mississippi State is true when it comes to the baseball program. And for this school and all those former players, the Jeff Brantleys, the Will Clarks, the Rafael Palmeiros, the Mangums, all of the great ones that played at that school now could look back and say, we have a school that is on top of the baseball world, and those 26, 7, 8, 9, however many players are on the roster are all going to be basically immortalized on that team, including the ones who didn't get to play that much, like Skinner and Leggett. I mean, I'm so excited for Mississippi State just as a community, because we've gone and I've spent so much time up there, and knowing what it's like up there, this is the biggest thing that's ever happened for them. But as far as the baseball aspect goes, they were clearly the team to beat in that final 3 games, even though Jack Leiter made them look pretty pedestrian in that first game. Will Bednar absolutely deserved the MVP. He was the best pitcher. Landon Sims was the best relief pitcher. Those two guys in combination. Look, Vanderbilt, we talked about this, QB. Vanderbilt was not an offensive juggernaut. They've had better teams in the past offensively. They lived off 2 pitchers, and in the final game, that one pitcher just ran out of gas, and they figured him out. They've seen him multiple times. I was somewhat surprised that they were able to get to him that easily, but I wasn't surprised that they won, because that team seemed to be on some sort of mission. And good for Mississippi State. You beat Texas 2 out of 3 times. You beat Vanderbilt 2 out of 3 times. You add in a Virginia, and you deserve a championship. Do I feel terrible about North Carolina State and what happened? Absolutely. But Mississippi State can't answer for that. They didn't have anything to do with it. They didn't play NC State. They didn't get the chance to play NC State. But they did play against 2 of the best pitchers college baseball's ever seen, and they won. So, fine. Texas, to me, was the second best team in that entire tournament, including NC State. So, they won, and they deserve it. Period.
Facebook Live brought to you by Mental Law. Joseph says, Buddy did say they changed it to 5 years. Not sure if it's true, though. I think.
Well, I don't know why he would say that if it wasn't true. I mean, he's not going to make it up. So that.
Well, I think he. I don't know, but I still think it's supposed to happen in 2023. If you got joint pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back that won't go away, you need to check out QC Kinetics for long-lasting relief. No surgery, drugs, or downtime schedule. Your free consultation at QC Kinetics at 352-400-4550. Call them today. That's QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. Also want to say welcome one of our new sponsors, Auto ER. So JC, I'm sure we'll have somebody on here on Facebook Live look it up, because we have great researchers that watch the show. I think initially it was supposed to be 5 years, and then they went and made it 2 years, and maybe Buddy got confused, because I've not heard them switching. I
can't imagine why anything like this would take 5 years. I don't care. There is no way this kind of thing. It should take 5 years to figure out how to get to Mars. It should not take 5 years how to figure out a bracket for the college football playoff. Okay, that's absurd. I don't care about the tie-ins. I don't care about the contracts. This is the sport that these people run, and they can run it the way they want to, and their partners can either get on board or get off. And so I can't imagine why there would be any reason whatsoever to just give me one reason why it would take 5 years for this to implement. I would love to know.
I have no idea. JC, switching gears, give us your hockey team goes down last night in overtime. But Montreal's not very good.
Well, Montreal is good enough to get to where they are right now. I don't know how they did, but I agree with you. I think Tampa Bay is clearly overmatches this team, and will end this thing in 5 games in Tampa on Wednesday. But last night, Montreal played ahead for the first time in the series, they took a lead, actually, and they lost that lead to force an overtime. What they did do was kill a 4-minute penalty with 3 of those 4 minutes in the first overtime. Tampa Bay has had the best power play in hockey, bar none, and certainly throughout the playoffs. And somehow Montreal kept the puck out of the net. Tampa Bay hit the post 5 times, I want to say, last night, and could have easily scored 5 goals. Easily could have scored 5 goals. Hit the post 5 times. They did get 2. They will finish this thing in Tampa, which actually works out better anyway, because nobody got to see it happen last year in Edmonton. They are going to get to Toronto or wherever the hell up in Canada. But now they're going to be down in America, in Tampa. They're going to have 20,000 fans and 20,000 fans outside the arena. They're going to have quite a party on Wednesday night. The only problem is this weather, right? We're going to have this ridiculous tropical storm blow up through, and I don't know how long that's going to last on Wednesday. It could push the game back to Thursday. I'm not really sure how that's going to work, but the weather will have an impact in that area, certainly. So let's just hope they can get it done on Wednesday. If not, maybe Thursday. And clearly, I think with the Vasilevsky and a healthy Tampa team, they're winning this thing in 5. And that's going to work out better for the area anyway. More money and more fun.
I agree with that. We got a text on the Titan More text line. It comes from George. George says, JC, if you could pick one player to represent your company, your business, in the NIL, who would you choose?
Well, it would have been Trevor Lawrence, but now that he's
no. Well, you can't go back. I'm talking about this year.
But I'm going to give you an idea.
I mean, hell, that's easy. You think you could afford Trevor Lawrence?
No, but here's the thing, QB. I want a guy like that, high profile, really this and that, and certainly, we haven't started this season yet.
Yeah, but you know who the best players in America are. Who would you choose?
I mean, do we really know who the best players in America are? The season hasn't started yet. I mean, who's Ohio State's quarterback? Who's USC's quarterback? Who's Clemson's quarterback?
The same kid that played quarterback for USC last year.
What's his name?
Keaton Slovis.
Okay, well, I wouldn't pick him. So I don't think I would take Spencer Rattler either.
Spencer Rattler, by the way, has the best logo I've seen. It's phenomenal.
Is it a snake, a rattlesnake with a rattle? That's shocking. It's
in his initials too. It's
listen,
cool.
George, I appreciate the question, and it's a fair question. But frankly, I got to read. So I got to read up on this season. I got to look at who these players are coming back onto the teams. Look at Alabama. So many replacements on offense. Look at Florida. So many new players on offense. I think there's 2 guys that can make a big impact. That running back from Clemson and that I want to say defensive lineman they got as well from. Where the hell did they get him?
You're talking about Florida?
Yeah.
We got one from Penn State and one from Auburn.
Penn State, right. So I think it depends on a couple things. It's demographics. Where are you going to be? Where are you going to be able to sell? Where are you going to be able to use a kid to sell your thing? So I would pick probably a school in a little bit of a larger market that had some personality. But right now, a name is too hard to give you because I just don't know yet.
Who's playing. You just proved my point.
I don't know who's playing. What
you
was
just proved my point.
What did I prove?
That who would you give money to? You don't know.
QB, it's July the 6th.
But okay, so tell me this. So when Nike and Under Armour and all these people go after their athletes, they don't wait till the season starts.
Why don't
they already know who they want to do deals with.
They can do whatever they want. They're not going to sign some guy who could get hurt in the first weekend of the season. What are you talking about? They have to wait until the season starts.
Okay, so you wait till game 2. You sign the wide receiver at Georgia. He gets hurt. Now, you made no sense just then.
Well, but again, the wide receiver from Georgia is playing. Right now, nobody's playing. So it's kind of hard for me to answer a question when nothing's happened yet. But if you want me to go off last year's players, I'd have to look again at the roster. Who's coming back? Because so many guys.
Well, I will tell you this. There's one site out there. I forgot what it's called, but you can go on there and you can book athletes for like an appearance for an hour, 2 hours. They have a dollar amount. You know who the highest, and it's absurd is what he's asking for per hour.
Somebody's asking for $10,000.
Matt Corral, Ole Miss. Yeah. Nobody's well, maybe
guess
some
what?
Ole Miss boosters will.
Matt might learn what the market's all about now, QB. He can ask whatever he wants. That's the whole point. Is that good for him? He can go get whatever he wants. The answer is going to be who's going to pay it. It's called a market. It's fine. It doesn't bother me.
None
of that bothers me. Well, okay, great. So Matt's going to have to come down a little bit. It's not a big deal. He can ask for $100,000. In fact, he probably should, but it's going to come down to where he can get something that he's going to be happy with, and somebody on the other end is going to pay something that they're happy with. It works out this way because that's how markets work, and it's fine.
I understand how markets work.
Free
enterprise. My point is, you never answered the question that I asked you. Being I don't know
the player. Well, the players, I can't give you names of players that I would.
But if you wait too long, then their price goes up and you lose out.
Maybe they do, or maybe they don't, because it's all about competition now. We bid basically for that player. Okay, it's just like your friend, the guy who runs the dirt factory over there in Archer. He's going to bid on a job for his dump trucks.
Yeah,
that's how it works. But he's not bidding on a job in December. He's bidding on it when it gets there. Here we are in July. He's not going to worry about what happens in November yet. Maybe he is, maybe he is. I don't know how the dirt moving world works, but I'm thinking that's pretty much the bids will open when the request for proposal comes out. And those players are going to give you that when they get ready to play. That's how I think it's going to happen, because nobody's going to spend 10 grand on Matt Corral.
I'm going to say that they're not going to be getting anywhere near what they think they're going to get.
Well, that's fine. Fine,
now,
great.
Keaton Slovis may get a lot out at L.A.
Maybe.
Because he's going to put up Los Angeles numbers.
Well, welcome to L.A.
Yep. All right, JC. Good luck to your Jaguars.
Oh, by the way, I don't know how we did on golf, but we can talk about that, I guess, on Friday.
I have no idea how we did on golf.
Well, when do you want to pick?
We're going to pick our golf. Gosh, we'll figure that out. We don't have time to pick it today. We already ran out of time.
All right. Sounds good. We'll see you next time.
All right. We're going to take our second time out of the pro, come back, wrap up this Tuesday edition.
All right.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, non-surgical regeneration, live pain-free. South State Bank, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Wrap Spot, Okido America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Silverback Concrete Company. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
We're looking for all type of restaurant people, managers, servers, bartenders, hosts, cooks, dishwashers, bussers. If you think you're good in the restaurant business, then give us a call.
Spurrier's Gridiron Grill job fair is open now. All you have to do is go to spurriersdraft.com and fill out an application.
We're looking for the good team members, and we're looking for people with a wonderful attitude that can make Spurrier's Gridiron Grill the best we can possibly be. To apply, go to spurriersdraft.com.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Center State Bank is now South State Bank, but we still put business first. We understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. South State still has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. South State Bank, banking forward, member FDIC. Going to thank Buddy Martin and JC for joining us on the Titan MR hotline. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We're going to have Mike Morgan from the SEC Network and Chris Harry. Florida's been practicing basketball. He can talk to us about that, but he also is going to give a rundown of all the Gators that are heading to Tokyo for the Olympics. Jeff says real quick on Facebook Live, this won't be a free market that enriches the advertiser. It'll be giving boosters a legal way to pay the players to play for their university. That's true, but a booster technically cannot be involved in this, but they can do it under the table, I'm sure. JB says, who gets more money, potential recruits or current stars? That is a great question. I think you're going to see more money being thrown out during recruiting season than you are right now. Will the NIL drive them all into the NFL? I don't know if it will or not. I don't know how college coaches like this at all. But publicly, they're going to tell you they're all for it, but I just don't see how that's possible. Anyway, today's show's a wrap. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Tell all your people to follow us and like us. Today's show's a wrap, brought to you by Wrap Spot. Be safe. We'll see you tomorrow.